Environmental. We've done a lot of research, Saskatchewan has, because it's so cold there. They've done a lot of research on the environmental side of things, but weather management. So during transport, temperatures and weather conditions can vary significantly with a very short geographical distance. Like I said, even between Edmonton and Calgary, we have big changes. When determining whether a flock should be loaded during adverse weather conditions, you need to have a discussion between the producer, the loader, the transporter, etc. to see. This even includes on-farm. I know you're not heading down the QE tube, but it can be awful cold because those animals, it might be a short distance that the transport vehicle actually moves, but the time they spend exposed to the cold while you're loading and getting ready to transport needs to be taken into consideration also. So just because it's a shorter trip does not mean that it's not as challenging on them. Monitor weather conditions throughout the trip and adjust if you can. Birds should be protected becoming wet. Wet birds are a big issue, so we don't want to put wet birds on a trailer at any time, and you want to keep them dry during transport. So they can go on dry, but if they get wet during transport, you're going to have welfare issues with them. Now, airflow. So trailer design is a significant factor in that the way they're designed, we have an uneven airflow. So Peter Kettlewell out of the UK has done a lot of research on airflow, including on poultry. And he's been over and worked with the Saskatchewan guys and stuff, and airflow in poultry trailers can almost be non-existent at times. So, and one of the biggest challenges we have is my second point. There are birds, they've done thermal pictures of birds in the trailer during transport in below freezing weather. And you've got birds extremely cold on the exterior part of the trailer, or frozen birds, while on the interior, the very inside, you're looking at upwards of 28 degrees Celsius. So it's very hot. So you have birds in the middle overheating at the same time that you have birds on the outside that are getting chilled or froze. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges we have with our trailers. Our trailers aren't over conducive to airflow also. And when you go over your trailers, the airflow actually goes over and gets sucked through the back is how air usually moves. You're not blowing into the wind. It doesn't like blow into the front of the trailer. It actually goes over the top and goes in the back end of the trailer. And when it's got a whole bunch of stuff blocking its way, the front end of your trailer doesn't get the benefit of the ventilation going through there. So a lot of people don't understand airflow. For those of you who do a stock trailer or even the back of your truck, if you have loose straw in the back of your trailer or the back of your truck and you're driving down the road and you stop and look, where's all the straw? Does it blow to the back of the trailer or the back? It goes up to the front. It brings it around and it blows it forward. So, poultry carriers are passively ventilated, or in other terms, they rely on movement to keep them going. You need to keep the vehicles moving and understand the aerodynamic characteristics of the vehicle. So this is why if you get stationary on a hot day, your birds will overheat like that. That's why we should have at all our plants and stuff, fans and stuff to keep the animals cooled. Is because once that truck stops moving, even in really cold weather, that trailer, it's amazing how quickly that trailer will start to heat up. So hot weather is very challenging, but cold weather is also with that. So I do work on the poultry side down in the southern U.S., where humidity and heat are present about 6 months of the year. And for those who've been to the plants down there, they get those bank of fans set up there to keep those birds cooled and have to keep that air moving through them or you'll lose birds really quick. But where this is a challenge during transport is getting stopped on the road. In CLT, we do work on emergency response on the side of this to make sure that the guys understand they need to keep moving. So, and to keep that ventilation, because you'll start losing birds the longer you sit still. So, you do need to make sure it's adequately ventilated also. So we want to protect them from the cold, but we can overdo that also, and we can lock the trailer up too tight. And the animals actually, you can build up humidity, not just from the sweating, but actual just normal breathing. When animals breathe, that puts out humidity. You get too much humidity in your trailer, you get wet birds. So during the cold. So during cold weather, birds must also be protected of air entry to relieve cold-related stress. Frozen birds is an issue in Alberta, showing up at our processors. So environmental monitoring devices are highly recommended. They've used some out of there. Out of Saskatchewan's done quite a bit out there. Tennille has in their research and stuff, and they actually have environmental measures set through the trailer so the driver can actually monitor different areas of the trailer during transport to see what the environment is with the birds and be able to adjust. So for hot weather, reduce number of birds per container. Bring them down so they're not as hot. So on a hot day, you shouldn't be loading as many birds. Keep the vehicle moving whenever possible. And if you can't and you don't have ventilation, park them in the shade. You can get fans. Don't park too close together. Just little things like that to keep ventilation going. So what's a sign of heat stress in birds? What are you looking for? Their wings spread apart, wings spread and body stretched when the space allows it. Open mouth breathing and gular fluttering, a cooling behavior in birds which open their mouth and rapidly flap membranes. So they'll get going really, really quick. But that's how they cool themselves off. But you don't want to overload them. Because that is one thing that they overheat quickly. So you should be reducing the number of birds that you put in each crate during hot weather. Cold weather, the middle of the load is warmer than the outer edges, like I said there. Warmest areas, the front of the lead trailer and the back of the rear trailer. So this is if you're going in a tandem. Coldest areas, the back of the lead and the front of the rear. So it's all on how your airflow goes through. For a single trailer, it's the back. That's where the greatest wind is coming in. And moisture accumulates in warmer areas of the trailer. So you will have moisture in the middle and humidity in the middle. That's why it can be minus 30 and you can pull wet birds off the trailer. So from that. As the temperature to which the birds are exposed during transport gets colder. So during transport, when the animals are getting colder, birds adjust their space usage within the drawer crate. Their body temperature and body weight decrease, and meat quality is negatively affected. So, and this all comes out of Saskatchewan. This is research where it's cold. It's really cold there. So, but cold weather definitely has an effect on the birds.